stars start to shine by the same stars above you. I swear that I love you. You are my pretty Fraulein. Hey guys, welcome to the Fiddlosophy podcast. My name is Jason, and that song, Fraulein, was requested by a student named Jerry, and I think he wanted a proper lesson on it. But what I want to do with this podcast is more talk about my overall approach to learning, how I got here, some storytelling, stuff like that. But I will say that with that song, and for a lot of you guys who are interested in learning to solo or improvise or jam, one of the best things you could do for yourself is to really learn a melody well, really learn to pick up melodies by ear. And then from there, use that melody to construct solos. So we learned it. My friend Joel and I took a road trip, and we learned this song just by ear, by listening to the CD over and over again. And if you listen to the Townes Van Sant version of this, the solo is it's very simple. It's just the melody with lots of embellishments. I'm not going to do it exactly, but it's... So it's just a lot of subtle things you can add to a melody to turn it into a solo. And even if you do something pretty different than the main melody for your break or solo, having that strongly in your head is just like a guiding light at all times. There's other things you can do. You can really know the chords well and really know the scale of the tune well. I think those three things are kind of like this trifecta you can work on. And anytime you want to learn a song and jam on it, those are the three key things and that I keep coming back to. There's so many other things you could do, but just starting with those will really help you. And it's just a good foundation for learning any song. So Fraulein, Joel and I were on this road trip, my friend Joel, and we were in search of the soul of American music. So that sounds cheesy, but it was kind of like what we really felt at the time. It was 1998. We were in between bands. We had been in a band called Paddlefoot, and then we were about to form a new band called 86. And so we decided to take I think it was a 3-week road trip from San Francisco and then just go to the American South and tour all the main cities there, like New Orleans, Clarksdale for the blues, Memphis, Nashville, Asheville, North Carolina, all those places. So along the way, we were learning music, and that was almost like the core of the trip, was driving and learning music while we drive, putting in CDs. Because the 1998, there's no iPhone yet. There's no, access to YouTube on the road. I think YouTube had existed at that point. So we are just literally learning everything by ear, which is such a great way to learn. Like I grew up learning sheet music, but I think that I really started to unlock music when I started learning by ear and hearing that way, and also learning to be creative with music. So we're driving, and whoever was driving would be, first of all, driving, trying to not go off the road, but then maybe playing an egg shaker, because you can drive with one hand and play the egg shaker. I stole this from my 1-year-old daughter. And then the guy in the passenger seat would be playing mandolin. Mandolin's a great road instrument because it's easy to fit in the car and play. They also make little guitars, but anyway, the mandolin was cool. And mandolin is really cool too as a transition instrument. So if you're a guitarist wanting to play fiddle, or a fiddler wanting to play guitar, mandolin is the bridge for both those people. If you think about it, like a guitarist can already strum and stuff, so they can pick up a mandolin. Chords are actually kind of simpler on mandolin, and they can kind of then, once they figure out a few scales, as a guitarist, you're in a good place to start playing fiddle. You just have to figure out this thing, the bow. So, and if you want to do that, if you are a guitarist wanting to do that, the best thing you can do, and this goes for any beginning fiddler, is to to just master the sound of open strings. And even once you start using your left hand, it's just really returning to open strings. How good of a sound can you make? I still do this. I still put on a drone note. Here's a D drone. Let's get a great sound. And enjoy the sound. Ah, just like you're swimming in it. Maybe try fingered. I could just do that for a really long time, but that would be pretty boring for you. And I really want to be empathetic to you out there watching this. I want you to have a good time in this Fiddlosophy podcast. So if I ramble a little bit, I hope you'll let me know so that I can improve it, yada, yada. So anyway, what else can I tell you? Some other songs we learned. We learned a bunch of great songs. We learned a bunch of Stanley Brothers songs on this road trip. So we learned I'm going back to the old home, back to the place loved so well, where the sweet waters flow and the wildflowers grow, back to your home on the hill. We also learned a bunch of Townes Van Sant songs. So Townes did Fraulein, and what a great solo on that. It's just the melody with the like very just well felt, just a lot of good feeling, but it's just the melody. But another Townes song we learned was If I Needed You, Would You Come to Me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain? So let's see, we made it to New Orleans. We're hanging out in New Orleans. We're like basically on tour, but not making any money and not very well organized with anything. Just staying in youth hostels when we could. So we were busking, we were playing on the street, and that's actually a big thing in New Orleans. So that was fun. We went up to a town called Clarksdale, Mississippi, which was supposed to be this big, blues center. And I think it actually is, but we were just too clueless to know what we were doing. But anyway, we made it to Clarksdale, Mississippi. There's nobody there. It's like a ghost town. Get out, we wander around, there's no stores. Fortunately, we still had some bologna and bread in the cooler. We ate a lot of bologna sandwiches on that trip. And it's good to know that you can actually survive on a good bologna sandwich. Joel doesn't like mayonnaise or mustard, anything, just bologna and bread. So anyway, we ended up having bologna sandwiches for dinner that night in a motel room. But we did see in town, we came across like a storefront with a piece of paper taped to it, handwritten on there. It was like Blues Show Tonight, Super Chicken. Chicken was spelled CHICKAN. And we're like, okay, we got nothing else to do. This is what we're doing tonight. And we go to this show, and it's just so different than anything, we've ever experienced in California. There's buckets of ice everywhere, and that's what you would buy. You would buy ice and bring in your own booze. I think they were selling bottles there too. And then the only beer they had was Budweiser, but like 5 different sizes. Anyway, it turned out to be an amazing blues show, and all these people seemed to come out of the woodwork. Believe it or not, the actor Morgan Freeman just randomly showed up. I guess he lives near Clarksdale or something, and he was just there like dancing all night. And so anyway, we went to a bunch of other like towns and played music and learned, and went to Memphis and Asheville, North Carolina. We wound up in a town called Greensboro, North Carolina. I don't know why I said it that way. And spent a lot of time on my old friend Matt's front porch playing songs. And Joel was writing a song called Don't Close Your Eyes. And it became kind of like the theme, where he was slowly working on the song over time, and really in Greensboro. Don't close your eyes, don't close your Greensboro was the last stop on this trip, and then we drove for 24 hours straight to Amarillo, Texas. We stayed in this place called the Camelot Inn, and we watched movies and drank beer. And then the next day, I think like the last day of the trip, we wound up in Fresno for Joel's cousin Toby. He's getting married, and we were the entertainment. We were well rehearsed, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like that was one of our best shows, playing his wedding. We might have even gotten paid, so it wasn't like it was a total, bust in terms of gigs on this tour. So anyway, that's a little bit about Fraulein, and to kind of wrap up this podcast, I'm going to give you a few takeaways. I'm Fiddlehead. I'm kind of a teacher. It's kind of what I do. So it's helpful to like give you some takeaways. So one is if you want a solo, learn the melody, and either that or compose a solo that you can reliably play. Another thing is to listen to Townes Van Sant, open your heart up to the music, let it make you feel things. And finally, just know that you can survive on bologna sandwiches for a few weeks if you have to. Okay, thanks for watching and listening. Go to fiddlehead.com for a progressive step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the Fiddlosophy. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.